the channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you've had a wonderful Saturday, wonderful weekend. It's a pleasure to be back with you on this evening's broadcast. Following the morning's underwhelming performance that we did have, but it is what it is. We are always glad to be back. We are always glad to be back in regards to being with every single one of you here on the broadcast, on the channel. So, of course, there's always enough to talk about, including the FIFA Club World Cup, that game between Inter Milan and the game between Inter Milan and Uara Reds is ongoing. Inter Milan do find themselves with a goal down. That's at halftime, and then earlier on, Dortmund managed to peep Mamelodi Sundowns by 4-3 in a 7-goal thriller. It's not very common, or at least for me, I did not expect that to be the kind of scoreline that will be treated to by the end of the evening. But looks like at least we got something quite for us to ponder about. But like I said, always good to have that kind of action. It's been a bit of a long day. I must acknowledge it's been a bit of a long day. So forgive me if we will try to keep this one short and brief. Not because we've come on late, but because it's been a bit of a long day. But I thought I still owed it to you guys to, and make it up here and give you the latest that there is that you ought to know. Given that it's a weekend, usually transfer news tends to cool down a bit in regards to major speculation or player movement and things of that nature. The same way you have, Monday to Friday working, and then you take the weekend off to sort of think and gather your thoughts. But it's always a pleasure to be back. I can see we have somebody asking, Walrus, is that how you pronounce your name? Walrus? Yo, Wagwan. I hope that's what you meant. But hi, how are you? Good to have you on the channel. Where are you joining us from? So let's engage. Let me know where you're joining us from. Bin JMD Abba. Hi, how are you? Where are you joining us from? Guys, kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new here. I can see majority of you are new here, but please do me the absolute favor, do me the absolute honor, and like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the Footballtribeug channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda, in case you're wondering. So let's engage down in the comment section. Please let me know where you guys are joining us from, how your day has been, your highlights of the day, if anything worth talking about really, before we get in our topics, as our name practically says it all, speaks for itself. But I'm always intentional on hearing from you guys before I get into my conversations here with the rest of you. But thank you to our usual suspects. Thank you, Team India. Thank you, the Team UK. Thank you, Team USA, Team Uganda, Team Kenya, Team Nigeria, and every other usual suspect that there is out there. Excuse me. That every single day spares a moment to be with us. And today, where should we even start from? Let's start with the FIFA Club World Cup, because of the major updates are going there. Like I said, in the earlier game, Borussia Dortmund have beaten up against Mamelodi Sundowns by 4-3. Mamelodi Sundowns did find themselves in an early lead in as early as the 7th minute in as early as the 11th minute through Lucas Ribeiro, and then Meka their squad to pull one, sorry, to restore a parity for Borussia Dortmund before Grise, before Grise scored to make it 2-1. Man of the match, Job Bellingham, who was making his first start in a Borussia Dortmund jersey, did score at the stroke of halftime to make it 3-1, while an own goal by Mudawa. Mudawa made it 4-1 after 60 minutes or after the hour mark. And then the striker Reynolds did score to just 2 minutes later to make it 4-2, while substitute Mothiba did also score in the 90th minute to make it 4-3 at the time. So much to the and by the Borussia Dortmund pretty much defended quite clumsily or poorly in that moment. So much so to the anguish of Niko Kovac, that's their manager. But it was what it was. But eventually the game finished in favor of Borussia Dortmund, who lead the pool with 4 points, while Mamelodi Sundowns remain with just a point, following their, I think, 1-0 victory against Uslan in the opening fixture. Fluminense will be up against Uslan Hyundai later tonight, and the winner between those two, and I do suspect it could be Fluminense, will obviously brighten their chances of advancing to the round of 16. Mamelodi Sundowns still have a chance to advance, but that's if they can gather a point against Fluminense. And also, yes, against Fluminense. No, actually, that won't be enough. Unless New Zealand go ahead and beat Borussia Dortmund in the other fixture for, excuse me, for Group F, which I suspect may not be a simple task. Then in the other game, like I said, Inter Milan, that game is at halftime. Inter Milan a goal down against Uwara Red Diamonds. That goal scored by Watanabe. Yes, Watanabe is the goal in the 11th minute. That has given Uwara Red Diamonds the lead against the 2025 UEFA Champions League losing finalists. But so, and then, like I said, fixtures will continue still in the FIFA Club World Cup later tonight with the fixture at 1 a.m. and another at 4 a.m. Now, at 4 a.m., River Plate will be up against Monterrey. That's the Mexican side where Sergio Ramos does ply his trade. Then River Plate is known for that boy who has since joined Real Madrid, Franco Mastratuano, who is still back with River Plate to see out the remainder of this tournament. Then Uslan Undai and Fluminense are coming at 1 a.m. So keep your eyes peeled for that game. Then tomorrow at 7 p.m. East African time, we witness Juventus up against Wydad Casablanca, while Real Madrid will be against Pachuca. Yes, excuse me, at 10 p.m. So those will be the games that will come your way in as far as the FIFA Club World Cup is concerned. Then without wasting any further ado, let's switch to some of the major news making the rounds, especially transfer related across the globe, but predominantly in the Premier League. The Bayer Leverkusen director Rundfels has written an open letter to Florian Wirtz, and it's a bit lengthy, so we may not read it all, but we'll read a few of them. So, and I didn't know that Florian Wirtz did suffer an ACL at some point in his career, but that is what it is. So he says, "Dear Florian, I do not want to write this. I would like to tell the world that you will stay at Bayer Leverkusen for the rest of your career, but you decided to leave our club and open a new chapter in your life. Of course, I totally respect that. We not only lose one of the best players in the world, we lose a special person. When I first met you, it wasn't just your skills that stood out, even if what you do with the ball still leaves me speechless. What really impressed me was your mindset, your will to win, your hunger to score to no matter the scoreline. And then he continues to say the constant drive to get better even in the smallest details, and your environment with your parents always at your side supporting you while also keeping you grounded. You never lost that hunger. If anything, your mindset grew stronger after your ACL injury. We spoke during that tough time. I could feel your frustration to not being able to have a ball at your feet, but also how determined you are to come back even stronger. So that reads as part of the open nature that a role face, that's the Bayer Leverkusen sporting director has written, opened out to now Florian Wirtz, who is already officially a Liverpool player, while they also look to conclude a deal for Milos Kakez coming into next week. Then then excuse me. Then of course Milos Kakez will be joining. Of course, Jeremy Frimpong is already in. Again, some sources do acknowledge that indeed a deal for Alexander Isak for Liverpool might be quite difficult. So let's wait and see. So let's wait and see how that really transpires over the course of the summer. But I mean, everything is positive. Liverpool remain interested in signing now a centre back, while as they look to finalize that deal for Jarell Quensha to Bayer Leverkusen, expected to be in the excess of 30 million euros. That deal, but it's not yet finalized. A few details still being ironed out between Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool before they can complete that move. And then Liverpool, we've spoken widely about their interest in Mark Guehi as a centre back option, with Ibrahim Konate only having a year left for his contract. Their openness to let go of, I think, Joe Gomez, who is now 28 years of age. I think he's been at Liverpool for close to a decade, or if not a decade, really already. So impressive stuff for him. Joe Gomez is one of those players that has equally won it all with Liverpool, but they will be open to listening for offers for him. It remains to be seen if there is any interested clubs or concrete clubs at the moment. Then also briefly, Thomas Partey has been making some interviews with different journalists back in his home country. But there's one particular one that has caught our attention as he gave an insight of how he came to join Arsenal, given what the frustration was for him at Real Madrid. Of course, he had been there for 3 years, worked really well, quite improved as a player, but he was still under the same, old contract. Nothing reviewed, nothing improved in terms of his earnings. So, and then his agent kept on, demanding that his players' value be hyped up in the work of his contribution to the team. They had to go back and forth with the sporting director, who was under better at the time. Of course, the manager Diego Simeone and other, club officials and things of that nature. Eventually, they agreed to a new contract or new terms to terms for a new contract, and then somehow because these players' wages usually have a percentage for their agents, they were only willing to pay Thomas Partey's agents at 3%, which was contrary to the renowned 10%. And Thomas Partey refused that. He said, "No, either gets it or I'm not taking that offer." And then, of course, apparently some officials told him where you got to go, nobody wants you. Then he had learned already through his agent about Arsenal's interest, and was telling him Arsenal is a team, they're not even in the UEFA Champions League. Look where they are, and things of that nature, to try and discourage him, but also retain him. Eventually, his agent spoke to Arsenal, ironed out the deal. He signaled he was open to making the switch to London, even if it meant that he was going to earn the same wages that he was on at Atletico Madrid. I think his decision had been made that he ought to move on. Long story short, of course, Arsenal paid the 50 million euros for which was his very close, and on he went. On he went to Arsenal, and it's been what, an incredible 4 5 years. I think an incredible 4 years, because we look back at that 2020, 2021 season, 2022, 2023, 23, 24, 24, 25. An incredible, what? I think 5 seasons, really, or 4 seasons. I think an incredible 4 seasons for Thomas Partey. So quite brilliant, really. His contract does currently run up at the end of this month, and negotiations with Arsenal over a revised contract has yet to bear any fruit. Arsenal are trying to mitigate their risks on giving him a new long contract, bearing in mind his sort of injury challenges and things of that nature. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Then, but let's wait and see. Apparently, there's a 90% chance that he will leave the club at the he will leave the club at when his contract does run out, although there's still a slim chance that he will stay. Arsenal have refused to increase his wages, which apparently he would prefer, and then apparently there's still a disparity over the length of the contract period, although some sources do indicate that's not really the sticking point. He would want improved wages, while Arsenal are saying we can only leave you at what you're already earning, which they consider really high. And bearing in mind that they know they're going to have some incomings, they would want to lessen their wage bill. That's why I keep saying if Gabriel Jesus had been fit going into this summer, he was going to be one of those players that Arsenal definitely look to move on. Speaking of Gabriel Jesus, he did release a video, a 1 minute video and a couple of seconds, showing his progress in terms of recovery from that anterior cruciate ligament injury. Then, of course, he's down in Brazil, utilizing the facilities of his former team, Palmeiras, who are currently playing at the FIFA Club World Cup. So he shared that clip, and although it was good to see that he's recovering really well, still my hope personally would be that I wish he could get back on the playing pitch or on the playing turf during preseason, which seems unlikely because preseason does kick off in about 3 weeks' time. I'm speaking still of Arsenal. Then Martin Odegaard, of course, has wedded his wife. Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, and Leandro Trossard are among those that were invited to the wedding party. So they did go. They did fly out to Norway to enjoy that party. So, anyways, that is that. Then Manchester United do maintain that they can only sign a goalkeeper if Andre Onana finds a new destination amid his interest from AC Monaco for the 29-year-old Cameroon goalkeeper. But let's wait and see. Then Juventus are interested in signing Manchester United winger Jadon Sancho with the Italian champions Napoli among the other teams interested in signing the 25-year-old. Liverpool's frenzy transfer activity does not extend for a move for Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak, with a deal for the Sweden not said to be imminent. That's according to the Telegraph. But Liverpool boss Arne Slot is interested in a move for Crystal Palace and England defender Mark Gahey. Manchester United and Cameroon, we've spoken about Andre Onana, sorry about that. While if Onana were to leave, beyond the consideration of Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa, Manchester United could also consider Atlanta's 24-year-old Italian goalkeeper, Marco Canesecchi. Hi, bro. RIP Sukuna. Good to have you back. It's been a while since we had you on the broadcast, on the channel, but it's good to have you back. Always a pleasure. How have you been? I hope life has been kind to you in the recent times, while we did miss you on the channel. So then Manchester City are open to letting go Ilkay Gundogan, who this one has attracted interest from Galatasaray, while Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain did submit a bid worth 55 million pounds for Ukraine defender, only 22 years of age. That's Ilya Zabani there from AFC Bournemouth. The two parties are yet to reach an agreement over the transfer fee for the 22-year-old, but they will remain in negotiations. Then Tottenham have made inquiries about Manchester United targets. Anton Semenyo, the 25-year-old Ghanaian international from Bournemouth, has attracted interest from multiple Premier League clubs, with Tottenham being one of the latest to make inquiries about his availability this summer. So that's one other deal to keep our eyes on. However, it is reported that Antoine Semenyo is considered as an option at Manchester United should they fail in their pursuit to sign Brad Mbomo from Brentford. Then Fulham are exploring an option of bringing back João Palhinha from Bayern Munich. Remember, this one left what, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, thereabout. He's now 29 years of age. Bayern Munich spent nearly 48 million pounds on that deal, but looks like it just did not work out. Then Premier League newcomers, Sunderland are the most advanced in pursuing Dynamo Kiev's Vanat. The Ukrainian club reportedly demanding up to 21 million pounds for the 23-year-old striker Vanat. So let's wait and see how that really happens. Then we did speak about Atletico Madrid's interest in Lucas Digne from Aston Villa should they fail in their pursuits for Andy Robertson from Liverpool, while Monaco could face competition from Saudi Arabia side Al Ittihad for the signing of 32-year-old French midfielder Paul Pogba, who is looking to make a return to playing following a doping ban. So remember, he's returning from that 1.5-year ban for being found in breach of the anti-doping rules and regulations. So let's wait and see where that does lead. Of course, like I've told you guys before, Monaco did put on table a 2-year contract for Paul Pogba, although they are yet to reach an agreement between him and Monaco. Now, apparently, there's interest in Paul Pogba from Al Ittihad in the Saudi Pro League. So, could it happen? Maybe, but I also get the feeling that given Paul Pogba's intention to find a way back into the French national team ahead of the FIFA World Cup 2026 that will be hosted in Canada, USA, and Mexico next year, then I think it should seem better if it does stay in Europe. But I mean, anything can happen. Let's just wait and see. Let's just watch the space. Then we did speak about Manchester City considering Francesco Sola Fabregas as a potential replacement for manager Pep Guardiola should he when he eventually leaves the club at the end of his contract. Then okay, that notwithstanding, but anyways, just clarifying some news here before I give it to you. Before I give it to you, sometimes we need to double check our sources to make sure everything is in check before we break the news to you. Then Inter Milan president, that's Mr. Morata, has said they are yet to receive any proposal from Galatasaray in regards to Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Yeah. Anyways, guys, allow me cut this one short. I'm feeling just a bit tired, but it's been a pleasure being with you this evening. Thank you so much for the love and support. Thank you so much for always being with us. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Bye bye.